So the All Blacks have got a very important fixture of their Rugby World Cup campaign just around the corner. They will be going head-to-head with the Italians, and in this video we will be trying our best to predict who is going to be in that starting lineup and reserves for the ABs for this upcoming game up against the Italians. But it is myself and it is Rugbyitch. It's a big game just around the corner for the ABs. Do you see them making a lot of changes in this game compared to what they did have in their last match up against Namibia, or do you see them trying to build some sort of consistency from their lineups across this game, maybe alongside Uruguay in that next matchup as well?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's hard to say that they'll go the same team which they did against Namibia, because I think it was really kind of a different team to what they played against France as well. So I think they're now going to kind of revert back towards that first team lineup. I could be wrong here, but again, there could be a few players in that Namibia game that kind of stood out, and there was definitely a few players that stood out, so that could maybe get into this first team. You never know. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, of course.
Alrighty, so we will jump into the front row. Now, we already know there will be a change at number 1 due to Ethan de Groot getting himself that 2-match ban. So who have you gone with in that front row?
Gosh, even the Groot. What are you doing, man? But yeah, no, for my number 1, I have gone with Opportunity Fassi there to cover him in the number 1 position. In terms of number 2, this is actually where I've gone with Cody Taylor to start, ahead of some Laho, as well as Dan Coles. And yeah, for this one, for number 3, again, I think he will be available, so I have gone with Taro Lomax here. I'm hoping he's available in time for this one. So yeah, that's my front row for this game.
Okay, so you have opted to stick with Opportunity Fassi as that loose head prop. I know that you enjoyed his offload from the last game, so I'm sure you'll be hoping you'll do another one just like that. For myself, I've not put him in the starting side. Instead, I've gone with Mighty Williams.
You just hate the Blues. What is this? Okay. I guarantee you guys, before he does this whole team, he's not going to have a single Blues player in this. I'm calling it right now. Oh, he's one. You had
to wait a while, but we'll get there in the end.
It's Finley Christie, though. That's the big one.
Finley Christie shouldn't even be in France. But no, never mind. Sorry, that's harsh, isn't it? The poor bloke. It's already a hard enough life being ginger.
You just made it worse for him. It's just bad.
So yeah, number 1, I have gone with Mighty Williams. Number 2, Cody Taylor, and number 3, Tyrell Lomax. So I've also assumed that he will be ready for this game after his stitches to the knee. To Mighty Williams, I feel like at scrum time will offer a lot more than offer Tauranga Fassi, so that is why I've gone with him. Also, alongside his Crusaders teammate, and Cody Taylor seemed like a reasonable plan. For the lock-in duo, I have gone with Brodie Retallick as my number 4. A lot of experience on his head. And number 5, Scott Barrett. So quite an experienced duo overall for the ABs. And hopefully they do end up going all right up against the Italians.
Yeah, I've actually gone with the same lock-in duo as you. Brodie Retallick number 4, Scott Barrett number 5. Again, I was considering Whitelock here, but I just think these two need to get kind of more minutes together, especially in a Rugby World Cup, because this was the duo we were meant to see in that opening game, but of course we didn't see it happen. So I want to see this, of course, at least to the what is regarded as kind of the second best team, at least in this group behind France, of course. So yeah, I want to see this happen. So I want to see these two go at it, of course.
Righty. So now moving on to the loose forward trio. Now this is where we could see either 1 or 2 returns from injury for yourself. Yes. I would assume. How many have you gone with?
It was a big call. This is actually a big call to do, but I've actually gone with 2 of the names that come back from injury. I've actually gone with Shana Vizel here, which is I think he's out of the 2, with obviously Sam Cane being my number 7 choice as well. He's probably the one that's more likely, I'd say, Shana Vizel, to be available for this one, because I think he looks a bit more match fit. Well, again, we'll see what happens, of course, because the All Blacks have had a week off in that sense. But again, yeah, Sam Cane, I have gone with number 7. I'm a bit hesitant on him. We'll see what happens in there. But knowing him, he'll get selected again, and then he'll have to go out at the last minute. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, number 8, I have gone with Otto Sevilla. You just got to go with him. He's just a rock for the sides, and he's been pretty good so far. I think underrated in terms of what he's done actually in this World Cup, because it's one of those where you can probably say there's been a lot more Leafs forwards that stood out so far. compared to him. But I think in terms of that All Black loose forward pack, he's definitely been the one that stood out the most.
So just like yourself, Shannon Frizzell is making a return into my number 6 jersey. Number 7, I have gone with Sam Cane. Now, it's still a little bit of a question mark of whether or not he will be available for this fixture. I'd like to think that if he is, they will play him up against Italy to test the waters, see if he's going to be all right to play maybe a little bit of time up against Uruguay and then build him into those quarterfinals games, because that's the thing. With both Shannon Frizzell and Kane, you're in the same boat. They haven't had a lot of minutes throughout this Rugby World Cup. In fact, both of them have not had any minutes throughout this Rugby World Cup. But the man at number 8 for myself, he has played pretty much every minute of this competition. It is Artie Savia to close out my loose forward trio. The 9-10 combination for myself, I've gone back to Aaron Smith at number 9, even though Cam Roygaard had an absolutely tremendous performance up against the Namibian, scoring himself the 2 tries. Instead, now I'm going back to Smith for that experience, and maybe Roygaard gets a spot later on. In my side, number 10, I've gone back to Richie Mo'unga as well, actually taking both Damian McKenzie and Roygaard out, going back to that Smith and Mo'unga combo.
Yeah, that was similar to you. I have also gone with Aaron Smith at number 9 position for the exact reason. Again, Roygaard was... he was sensational in that game against Namibia. Like, he really just broke the line a lot of the times, found the correct passes, of course. It was a tough choice, but you got to go with experience here, especially against Italy. Aaron Smith is definitely my 9 choice. And then, I've gone with Richard Mo'unga as well in terms of that 10 again. It's hard because McKenzie, he's so good, but it's just so unfortunate you have Mo'unga in front of him. And again, this will most likely be his last World Cup with the All Blacks. So, I just don't see it any other way in terms of allowing him to have the kind of the big games in that sense. So, Mo'unga is definitely my 10 for this game.
Righty, so now we move on to that midfield combination. Now, last week, we did get to see Anton Leonard-Brown as well as David Havili in their midfield combo. Now for this week, have you gone back to the tried and trusty, which would include yet again another injury return for the ABs?
That is true, yeah. I actually didn't think of that. But I have actually done it. I've gone with Jordy Barrett at the number 12, and I've gone with Reiko Awani at number 13. So again, it's worked. I mean, we don't have to go more into detail with this one. It's probably one of the few positions where there's not a lot of debate over it now. I think there was a lot of debate in the past, of course, in terms of center pairing, but I think that the All Blacks have kind of found their pairing in terms of Barrett, in terms of Jordy and Reiko. So, that's my 12-13 combination there.
Okay, for myself, it is identical. Number 12, Jordy Barrett, returning from that knee injury. Hopefully, will be 100% and will be building towards those playoff games. Number 13, I have gone with Rieko Ioane. That pace on the outside certainly going to be dangerous for the All Blacks. The benefit that the All Blacks have at the moment is they've got quite a bit of cover for 12 and 13 in their overall squad. It's just whether or not those combos are actually going to be effective up against the opposition that is thrown in front of them. For my back 3, I have gone with Mark Talia out on the left wing. So he is the first Blues man in terms of the order of jerseys that I've gone with. In my side, number 14, I did go with Will Jordan, even though I'd prefer to see him at fullback, still giving him the chance out on the right wing here, as I believe that is what the selectors will do. And then number 15, another Blues boy. I got 3 of them. It's like 20% of the team for the Blues there. So, Barrett, number 15, decent enough player. Just don't chip the ball every 5 seconds, Bodie.
You keep saying that. You got to when you have Will Jordan. It just, that combination, you got to do it. But, look, exact trio as you. I've gone with, Mark Talia, number 11, Will Jordan, number 14, and Boda Bear, number 15. I mean, it's worked out. Personally, I think it did well against the French. I mean, there was nothing wrong, actually, with that back 3. And, again, was that back? I mean, Boda Bear, I believe, was the only one that stood in that game against Namibia. I think he'll just continue on. Again, I wouldn't be actually surprised if they actually put McKenzie at the 15. Maybe that's a switch that could happen. But I mean, now that I think about it, you know what? I'm actually going to do it. I'm actually putting McKenzie there. I want to see maybe a switch there. Yeah, I like that one. I'll put McKenzie there. McKenzie at 15. Mark Talia, then Will Jordan.
A little bit similar to what I did last week in the prediction of putting McKenzie at 15, but Mo'unga was still my 10 in that last match. But yeah, it could happen. At the end of the day, the funny thing is, it seems more likely for Damian McKenzie to go to fullback than it does for Will Jordan to go to fullback.
Exactly.
And Will Jordan's position is fullback, but
Or the Crusaders.
Caleb Clark out on the right wing, perhaps, for this next game, and then Will Jordan at 15?
I don't understand how Caleb Clark they put him as a right wing. Again, I understand if you're choosing between him and Leicester Fananku, of course, for that 11 jersey, it's Leicester any day of the week. But of course, with him leaving to France, it gets a bit tricky in that argument. So I don't know what to think about that. But one thing for sure is that Martelea is going to be hands down the best 11 for the All Blacks after Leicester leaves. Like there won't be ever conversation of that. I mean, like. Is there another 11? Is there? Maybe there is one that maybe it's going off my head.
Well, Talia theoretically is actually a 14 too, isn't he?
Exactly. He's actually a 14 as well. There's actually no 11 we have. The best 11 is Caleb Clark. Come on, Caleb.
let's let that sink in for a second.
That is actually the depth of the All Blacks 11, which is actually mad because that's obviously the position for the All Blacks. Let us know obviously in the comments who you think is probably like the best 11 that the All Blacks have. Let us know. But besides maybe you obviously just say Mark Saleh, or you say there is one. It's on the tip of my tongue here. It's not.
You'll probably be either thinking Rayasi or Nareki. One of those two might be.
Riasi, I've always liked. I mean, Nareki. The thing with him is that he actually had a brilliant season one year for the Highlanders, but he got an injury, which kind of he has never really been the same as. I mean, he picked a bit of form last year. Well, actually, it was this year. But Rias is probably the other one you could think of. But let us know obviously in the comments what you guys think about that. Moving on then towards the bench. In terms of my bench, I've actually gone with the likes of Summerson Tukalaho coming off the bench here. Again, I could have gone with Dan Coles if I wanted to, but I just decided that Tukalaho just makes a lot more sense. And then again, I've gone with Tamati Williams here as the number 17 option here, and then number 18. You're not going to like it, but I'm going with Nipalalala. I know he didn't have the best of games against Namibia, but you got to back him. He's a brilliant player, and I think he's your favorite player, right? He's your favorite player, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah. I heard that somewhere. Something like that. But
I think he was probably my favorite player to kick out of the All Blacks squad after that last performance. That could have been it, perhaps. No. I have nothing against the Blues. It just ends up that way because
no.
Just out of form, aren't they?
It just happens. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
For myself, number 16, I have gone with Dane Coles. So the Hurricanes representative there, rather than Samasoni Takiaho, going with a bit more experience later on in this game up against the Italians. Number 17, I've gone with Ofa Toingafasi. And then at number 18, I've gone with Fletcher Newell. Decided to give him another crack off the bench. I don't think he was too bad in the later stage. It's nothing against Nipalalala. It's just, the team's going to rotate too.
Let's say it like this. Why is Fletcher Newell in ahead of Nipalalala?
Well, Fletcher Newell came off the bench in the last game, so he hasn't had as much game time. And also alongside that, his scrummaging at the moment, he does seem to be that little bit more consistent than Nipalalala. Plus, he can catch a ball. Moving on to the rest of the forwards.
That's great.
Number 19, I have gone with Sam Whitelock. And then number 20, Ethan Blackadder. Two Crusaders players that I haven't put it in because Blackadder's a little bit of the unknown at the moment. And I feel like this game up against the Italians, perhaps that's a good time to bring him in.
He's someone I should have selected. I should have gone with him at number 6, maybe. That's maybe a bad call by me.
I mean, you can change it if you like, because I think they will start Frizzell.
It's too late. He's one where but just carry on.
Alrighty, so those are my two in the forward replacements. I assume you got Whitelock, but I definitely now know that you do not have Blackadder.
Exactly, yeah. Like I kind of wish I had Blackadder in my team because I mean, it makes sense. He's been playing obviously in the NPC, so it's one of those where he's definitely match fit. I hate that because
you haven't listed it yet, so you could change it. And
I can't because I caught it at least with Mackenzie because I like that change, but with this one I'm not going to make that same choice. I will stick with my guns here and go with Dota Papalea here. Again, can cover 6 and 7s. That's the reason why I set him in the first case. But Blackadder is a good choice there. That's a really good choice. But anyway, moving then towards the backs. I've actually gone with the likes of Cameron Roigard here to come off the bench. I think you just got to include him. He was brilliant, obviously, against Namibia, so reward him once more, obviously, playing this game. I have actually gone with David Havili as number 22 option. Again, can cover a lot of positions. Really the main reason why. And then, yeah, number 23, Lessa Fanaki. Not Caleb Clark, unfortunately. And again, it's one of those where, like, I'm trying to think if there's another player I could have gone with here, because it was like, it was always the go with Leicester, but I'm trying to think if there's a player I've been harsh on, because I've flooded around a lot of other times. I just don't think he's been decent. He's never been like stand out, but he's been pretty decent. There's not really another back, right? There's no. It's literally Caleb Clark.
Don't have Bowden now that you've switched him around.
Oh, that's it. I've rested Bowden in this one. Oh my gosh, yeah.
You want to switch
that's what I have
23?
to do then. Yeah, so you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna put Bowden as the 22, and I'll put Lessa Fananku as the 23. So I'll remove Havili out of my team.
Right, so for myself, number 21, I have gone with Cam Roigard. Once again, I feel like he is definitely that second choice halfback for this matchup. Number 22, I've gone with Damian McKenzie as the backup fly half or fullback, depending on what the All Blacks want to do with them. And then number 23, Leicester Whainanoku, covers the wing, covers the centres, everything's covered in the back. So hopefully they go all right throughout this match. But thank you all very much for tuning into this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out Rugbyitch's YouTube channel as well as the Rugby Recap podcast where we talk all things Rugby World Cup. The links are in the description below. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Do let us know who you think the All Blacks will go with in their selection in the comments down below. And I will see you all for the next one.